Hi guys, I hope you can see me and hear me. Let me know in the chat. Let me know if you can see me or hear me, or if you can't see me or if you can't hear me. My name is Yamile Yemoonyah, and I invited you here for a Q&A session about spirit guides. So please let me know, Hero, I know you're here. Let me know in the chat, please, if you can see me or hear me. That would be awesome. I know I'm live, but I don't know what's going on if you can see me. Let me know, guys. Yes, awesome. Thank you, JP. Awesome. Thank you very much for letting me know. Now I know I'm not just talking to myself. Thank you, Hero. Thank you, Helen. Awesome. So welcome, everyone, to this very, very first Spirit Guide Q&A session. I hope you came with lots of questions. If you're watching from YouTube or FB Live and you have a question, then please click the link in the description. It's in the description below. It's a link to Crowdcast. Join us there so you can ask questions. I can't be on all platforms at the same time and answer questions, but I will go and check Facebook and YouTube later if you have questions there. But please, if you can, come over to Crowdcast. The link is in the description. All right, I also see that you already started introducing yourselves. That's awesome. Hero's here from Japan. Hi, Hero. Nice to see you again. Helen is here from New York City, but she's currently in the Poconos. I think that's how you say it. I've never been there, but I've been to New York City. Then we have Tammy from Northern California. Hi, Tammy. And Annette from Berlin. Yay, Berlin. I lived there for 11 years. Then we have JB from Texas. And if anyone else is here, oh, here, we have Rosie from Canada. Awesome. So we have, I think 3 continents covered. That's amazing. So if there is any tech trouble, if you can't see me, can't hear me, or anything like that, then first reload the page. And then there's somewhere a button, I think it's in this corner, where it says Get Audio Video Help. Locate that now, just in case, so you know. And if you also, if you have tech trouble, post it in the chat and ask the others if they can help you. Please, everyone, help each other if there's something going on, because I will be talking and it's hard to do everything at the same time. All right, we have Colin from Singapore. Yay, continent number 4. Awesome. Let's see, what else? Oh yeah, there's a difference between the chat and the call and the Q&A. So the chat you can see already, everyone's posting in there already. And then you have a ask a question section. It's right down here, I think. I hope it's in the same spot for you guys. It says ask a question, and 3 people already asked questions. So if you have a question, please post it there, not in the chat, because it's really hard to keep up with the chat usually. Any other housekeeping? Let's see. Oh yeah, if you want to see the recording, you can just come back to the same URL, and the recording will be there right after we wrap up this session. So you can watch it again whenever you want. All right, so that's enough housekeeping. My name is Yamile Yemoonyah, as you probably already know, but maybe there's some newbies, so I want to introduce myself. You can find me at spirit.co. That's spiritguides.co. You can take a free spirit guide quiz there. You can sign up for free spirit guide readings. So if you haven't done any of these, go check it out. Hi, Kathleen, a newbie. Awesome. What else? Right, I'm a spirit guide medium. That's why I'm here. That's why you're here. I've been doing spirit guide meetings for hundreds of people already. I started, I think, about 2 years ago, doing this professionally. But I started my journey with spirit guides 17 years ago. Or maybe even 18 years ago by now. That's when my spirit guide, or one of my spirit guides, physically appeared in my bedroom in the middle of the night. I woke up and there he was, standing in 3D, just like you see me right now, fully physically. That was a bit of a shock, but since then, I've been really interested, obviously, in spirit guides, and I realized that what we learn, what Western science teaches us to be real, is not always what is real. There is more to life than what Western science wants us to believe. And so I spent the last 17 years researching spirit guides, reading a lot about it, taking courses, and of course having real experiences with them. I've had 3 aliens appear in my bedroom, again, physically in the middle of the night, which was kind of fun. I've seen elves, I've talked to nature beings, I have my own spirit guides, obviously, and sometimes new ones come in and sometimes old ones like leave for a while. So yeah, I've had a lot of experience with this. And like I said, I've been doing the reading. So I can answer, or hope I can answer your questions. So if you have any questions, again, please ask them in the question section. It's right here. It says ask a question. So let's see. What questions do you have? Okay, we had some tech questions first. We've answered these already. Okay, let's see. Okay, so Hero has a question. Hello, Yamile, how are you doing? I'm great, thank you. You said that the meditation is the only thing to connect to spirit guides. I'm not ready to meditate yet. I'm looking forward to watch coming live event anyway. So no, meditation is not the only way. Before my spirit guide appeared in my bedroom, I didn't meditate very much, or I'm not even sure if I did it at all. But meditation helps you to connect with your spirit guides. And here's why. If you connect with your, oops, sorry, I made a tech mistake. Give me 1 sec. Okay, again, so your question is meditation the only way to connect with your spirit guides? No, it isn't, but it helps, and here's why. If you meditate, you get to know your own energy, and knowing your own energy is very important for connecting with spirit guides, because if you don't know your own energy, how are you supposed to feel another presence in the room? Because most of the time spirit guides don't appear physically. You only can feel their presence, like an energy frequency. But if you don't even know what you feel like by yourself when you meditate, or when you're like in a meditative state, then you can't feel their presence. And that's why meditation is so important, because you sit down just with yourself. There are no big emotions controlling you, no thoughts controlling you. You're just in a peaceful state, and that's when you can focus on your own energy. And that's why I recommend meditating. Meditating does not mean that you have to stop your thoughts, by the way. What you do is you just let them pass by, just like clouds. Like the clouds come and they go, and it's the same with thoughts. You can hear your thoughts, or you can recognize your thoughts, but you just don't latch onto them and follow them. You just let them go. So yeah, that's my answer to your question. If you have any follow-up questions, let me know. All right, let's see. What's the next question? What do the guides have to say about Montana and me? And who's asking this? Simon. All right, Simon. So this is a question for my free readings, where I connect with spirit guides and I can give you messages. Today, I'm answering questions about spirit guides that you might have, like if you had an experience with your spirit guides, you're not sure if it was real, or something about meditation, or what kind of spirit guides people have, if they can, if they're always the same. Like, these are kinds of questions that people ask me, and that's what we're doing here today. But thank you for your question, and please feel free to come to my free readings, and I can connect you. All right, let's see what else. So Jiranjit has a question. Please explain what are shadow birds. Like, they are made of shadow in 3D, moving around and even making sounds. Honestly, I have never heard about shadow birds. What I can imagine is that they are spirit beings, and they show themselves as in the form of shadows. They use the shadow to manifest themselves. I personally have never seen it, but that's what I would think it is. All right, next question. All right, JB has a question. What are some tips, ways to see them in your dreams? I put crystals underneath my pillow, but I haven't seen them yet. Right, okay. So what are ways to see spirit guides in your dreams? Well, the most important thing you can do is to set the intention. So you can set the intention by writing it down on a piece of paper and put it under your pillow along with your crystals. You can find specific crystals like you do that are great for dreaming. You can ask specific, let's say, goddess that's connected to the, or god that's connected to dreams to come and help you with this. Or you can ask an archangel that is connected to dreams. I think that would be Haniel, Archangel Haniel. So basically, before you go to sleep, you ask one of either a god, goddess, or an archangel to come and help you to connect with your spirit guides in your dreams. And important, again, like to set the intention, like write it down. What exactly do you want? What do you want to get out of it? It doesn't have to be just one like little line of text that you put under your pillow. It can be like a whole essay about why you want to connect and what your intentions are. The clearer you become about it, the easier it is for them to connect with you. Also, I'm sure there are specific herbs that help with dreams to make them more lucid. And you can also train yourself to lucid dream. So that means that you are conscious in your dreams and can direct your dreams. So you're asleep, but you know that you're sleeping, and you can just ask your guides in your sleep, in your dream, hey, is there a guide around, and would you come talk to me? So these would be the the tips that I can give you. All right, let's see. More questions. Okay, Merlene has a question. I hope that's the way to say your name. Let's see. Okay, Marlene, you're asking, I have been working with my ancestors on my altar for almost 2 years, and I always ask them to visit me in my dreams, and they never come. I know they are there because they always help me, but they never come in my dreams. What can I do? All right, so another dream question here. The thing is, not everyone, like dreams are not the way to connect with spirit guides for everyone. We all, just like in real life, we all have different talents and skills. And the same goes for when we connect to the spirit world. So some people are very clairvoyant, which means they can see spirits. Other people are more clairaudient, which means they can hear spirits. And then others are more clairsentient, which means they can feel it. They can feel the emotions. They can feel a wave of love, for example, that comes from their spirit guides. And some people are really great with dreams, but not everyone is. So maybe dreams is just not your way to communicate with them. Maybe you want to start trying different things like meditation. And there, I have a meditation, you can buy it on my website, that will help you to connect with your spirit guide. So try different things if they don't appear in your dreams. But also, the second thing that I want to tell you is that we often expect spirit guides to show themselves in a way that we humans can understand it, like in a physical way, or like really as like a being that you can see with arms and legs. But sometimes that's not how they show themselves. Sometimes they just show themselves as a light, as a colored light. Or maybe they show just, you hear a specific sound, or maybe your ears start ringing and then you know that they are around. So don't focus too much on one specific way that you want to connect with them. Find lots of different ways that you can connect, and then try them all out and see what works for you. Again, so most people are very fixated on seeing them, but for most people, that's not how it works. Most people are more clairsentient and can feel it. They just don't realize that this wave of love that they suddenly feel is coming from their spirit guides. They think it's their own emotion, but it isn't. So what I can recommend to anyone wanting to connect with their spirit guides on a more conscious level is psychic development. Take a psychic development class because that will help you develop your psychic senses, and it makes it easier for you to connect. So I do have like what I call a master course. It's 5 workshops, like each is 2 hours long. And I teach you how to connect with spirit guides. If you're interested, there's a buy now button right here, and you can go check it out. Okay, so next question is from Colin. All right, hold on. Okay, Colin asks, how do you protect yourself from spirit guides that are not of the light? That's a really good question. But I have to make a differentiation. Like, spirit guides are always of the light, and they're always connected to us in unconditional love. But there are also spirits who are not our guides, who don't have our best intentions in mind. How do you protect yourself from them? By doing a protection ritual before you connect, or before you open yourself to connect. How do you do that? There are millions of ways to do it. You can Google psychic protection and find lots and lots and lots of ways to do it. You can pick one that makes sense for you and use it and try it. The main thing is, again, setting your intention. Setting your intention that you are safe. Then what I like to do personally is I ground myself to the earth by imagining like that roots are growing out of my root chakra and all the way into the earth and all the way into the core of the earth. And then I root myself there. And then I connect to the center of the galaxy with a pillar of white light that enters my 7th chakra. And so that way I align myself. I set the intention to align myself with the universal forces. And then I create a bubble of light around me and around my aura. And I give that, or like that bubble, also like a thin layer of like a mirror, so that beings from the outside, spirits, can not see through unless they are connected to me in unconditional love. So I set that intention that only beings that are connected to me in unconditional love can see through the mirror. All others just see themselves reflected in the mirror. And then I call on Archangel Michael and my personal protector guide to also come and join me and protect me. So that's what I do. But again, there are lots and lots of different ways. So if something else works for you, that's totally fine. Just try different things and find the way that works for you. And also, of course, you can like clear your house on a regular basis. Maybe once a month, take some sage or some Palo Santo and just clear the house with it. You can also, what some people do is like have salt all along like their doors and their windowsills. That helps as well. I hope this helps. All right, let's take the next question. All right, Annette has a question. Annette asks, I took your quiz and the answer was that my spirit guide is a nature spirit, but somehow this doesn't feel like it at all. I feel like there are many guides around me, and I have also been told that by a medium before. I have been connecting with Merlin and beings from other dimensions in some ways. I would just find out who's my main guide at this very moment and connect with him, her, then clearly. Any insights you're getting on that? Thank you. All right, Annette from Berlin. Yes, my quiz is obviously not 100%. It's a quiz, and It does, like a lot of people get the right results, but obviously it can't like give 100% correct answers all the time. So you will have to find out for yourself. And yes, we all have a team of guides. We don't just have one guide. We also have guides that come in for like just temporarily to help us with something specific. For example, you have a kid and your kid has problems in school, then you can ask for a specific guide to come in and help you with that problem. And after their problem is solved, they leave again. But there are others that stay with us for years and years, and again, others that stay with us for our entire lifetime, or even for like several lifetimes. So yes, it's totally possible that a medium told you this, that you have many guides. You also say you've been connecting with Merlin and beings from other dimensions in some ways. Well, that's great. Merlin is one of the ascended masters that help a lot of people. Ascended masters, just like as archangels, are never personal spirit guides. Yes, they can work with you personally, but they are never just there for you. They work with a lot of people. And they can do so at the same time. What was the rest of your question? You want to find out who's your main guide. Well, again, like set your intention. But be very clear and ask. Oh, by the way, that's another thing that everyone has to know. You have to ask. If you don't ask, they can't show themselves and they can't help you because you have free will. So you have to ask and invite them in. So what you can do is like you do a little ritual. You sit down and you set the intention. You like burn some sage or whatever you like and a candle and have your crystals with you and you meditate and then you ask your main guide to come forward and to communicate with you. Again, don't have like specific expectations. Maybe you're not clairvoyant, maybe you're clairsentient and you just feel the presence. Or maybe you hear something, but you don't see anything. So try different things. But again, like the intention is the most important thing. And then you really have to like practice. This is just like everything else. Like if you want to learn how to play basketball, well, you will have to practice. And this is the same thing. You can do it. Everyone can do it. There's not one person on this planet that cannot do it. And again, did the master course. I created the master course. The button is right here. And when I did the master course with, I think we were 10 or 12 people, every single one connected with their spirit guide. So if you're interested, check it out. Then also I have some videos on YouTube that can help if you want to go check it out. I think the link is on my website. So if you go to my website, spiritguides.co, there's a little link in the upper right corner with my YouTube link. I have a playlist there that also talks about how to consciously connect with your spirit guides. And then also, like I mentioned earlier, the meditation that I have on my website, you can use that too. Like all these tools can help you to connect with your main guide. Someone had the same question. All right, let's see. Now we have Rosie. So Rosie is asking a question about the Zeta Reticuli. Okay, so our question is, I see Zeta Reticuli blue energy beings. And your question is, are they Pleiadians and ancestors around me? Who are the blue energy beings, ETs or spirits? Well, Rosie, my answer would be, it depends. Usually when I see blue energy beings, they are from Sirius, not from the Pleiades. And also you use the term spirit, I think in the sense of like spirits of deceased loved ones, like your ancestors. I use the term spirits in a little bit of a different context. For me, spirits are any kind of beings that are not in physical form and live in other dimensions, basically. So any beings that are not form are for me spirits, like nature spirits or ancestor spirits, or yeah. So your question is, are these ETs or spirits? So my answer would be it's both, because ETs can also be spirits. But I can't give you a definite answer. Like with these things, again, I can only tell you from my experience, the blue energy beings in my experience are usually connected to Sirius. But what I usually say during my readings is that spirits show themselves, or spirit guides show themselves in a way that makes sense to you. So they don't always show themselves in the same way to everyone. If they connect with you, they have access to like your mind, in the sense they know everything or tap into everything that you know and all your experiences. So they use that to take on like appearance that makes sense to you. So sometimes, like, our spirit guides will show themselves as, let's say, a Disney princess to a 5-year-old girl, because they know she likes Disney princesses, and they know this is how they can reach her and communicate with her, because it's like she's a little kid. But maybe when she grows up, they're going to show themselves, and they're more like in a different form that makes sense to her then. So then they might show themselves as a blue being from Sirius. And the Disney princess was really that blue being from Sirius. So there are different ways they can show themselves. So it's really, really important that you focus on what it means to you. When something happens, like really focus on, what does this mean to me? When I see a rose, maybe it means love to me, because that's the general meaning that everyone knows around it, but maybe it reminds you of your grandmother, because your grandmother always had red roses at home. So the message to you when they show you an image of a rose is different than the message to me when they send me an image of a rose. And the same goes for how they show themselves to you. So it's very personal. But again, like my interpretation of blue energy beings would be Syrians. And also, oh yeah, ETs are spirits. Some ETs have physical forms, other ETs don't have physical forms. So the non-physical ones I would also define as spirits. Also, just ask them. Again, like you can't, they're not going to tell you anything if you don't ask them. Ask them questions every single day, because that's the best way you can connect with them and learn how to connect with them. Ask them for signs, for example. And again, don't be fixated on specific signs or a specific way you want to see them. Maybe you just overhear a conversation at the supermarket, and that's your answer. Or maybe you see the same image 3 times in the same day, and that's your answer. Don't be fixated on seeing the being and them talking to you like human beings would. All right, I hope that answers your questions. Lionel has a question. All right, so Lionel asks, how do you find the strongest guides to help you, and are they stronger if they are of your family tree? Interesting question. No, they're not necessarily stronger if they are from your family tree. They will definitely be very connected to you in a love sense of way, but they are not the strongest. The thing is with ancestor spirits, especially the ones that you actually knew in your life, because they passed and they moved to another dimension, they evolved spiritually, but that doesn't mean that they are like all knowing and all loving and suddenly are like saints. They still have the same personality. Maybe they're a little bit wiser, but that's it. So they can help like with lots of great things, like when it comes to family stuff, when it comes to your kids, when it comes to maybe even your relationship, when it comes to ancestral karma, then you want to talk to your ancestor spirits, definitely. But if you want to like evolve on a spiritual level, for example, if you then you should maybe ask either like the ancestors that have like passed a long time ago, because they keep evolving, obviously. But you can also ask for just set the intention to for the spirit guide that can best help you with this to come and help you. So again, sometimes that might be your main guide, but sometimes your main guide knows that he's maybe not the, or she's not the best one to help you with this, and they go and find someone else for you. So talk to your guides, the ones that are around you now, and just tell them, listen, I want to do this, whatever, like you want to learn a new skill. Like I want to really learn how to communicate with spirit guides, for example. And you tell your guide, listen, I want to learn this. Can you help me with this? Or if not, can you find someone who can help me? And then you will get your answer. Again, don't be fixated on specific ways your answer will be answered, your question will be answered. It can come in multiple ways. All right, so let's see, another question. All right, Esther has a question. Esther asks, I was told I was an elemental being and was told I had fairy spirit guides. Could this be true? Yes, absolutely. That can absolutely be true. Lots of people that have like a very easygoing, fun, uplifting personality have elemental beings around them. Also, elemental beings, fairies, are great when it comes to manifesting. So if you have like something that you want to manifest in your life, let's say a new car, a new house, a new job, whatever it is, or like you want to start a business or whatever it is, it's always great to ask for elemental beings to help you. And how do you connect with elemental beings? Well, in nature. So you go out in nature and make sure that you spend like, yeah, lots of time in nature, go for walks, and just keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes open for little sparkles, for example, or keep your eyes open for plants that wave in the wind, even though there is no wind, for example. Or what I do is I go out for a walk and I just follow my intuition. I just follow the feelings that I have of where to go. And that way I would always find places where elementals live. Because I kind of feel just drawn there. So that's how I do it. So yes, it's absolutely possible that you have a fairy spirit guide. Also, if you like sparkly things, that might also be an indication that you have fairy spirit guides around you. All right, let's see. Helen has a question. Helen asks, I had an Akashic reading and was told my spirit guide is a leprechaun, and the way I can communicate with my spirit guide is by calling out to our channel, Christine. It's confusing to me. How can we communicate better? All right, I don't really get the second part of your question about like calling out to our channel, Christine. But the first part, let's see again. I had an Akashic reading. I was told my spirit guide is a leprechaun, and the way I could communicate out, right? Okay, so yes, leprechaun, totally possible. Leprechauns, like if you are someone who is likes practical jokes in general, if you play practical jokes on other people, if you're a down-to-earth person, a leprechaun is very likely. If a leprechaun is your spirit guide, great for money. Really, really great for money. So you're blessed. So again, I'm not sure about the second part of the question. If you want to clarify that, then I'll be happy to answer that. All right, so Andrea has a question. Andrea asks, in your free spirit guide test, I have an ascended spirit, an ascended master, I guess. How do I find out which one it is that guides me? Thanks. Well, you can find out by asking. I know it sounds so simple, but it is. Like you start meditating. Again, like I said earlier, meditation is really, really useful because you start feeling your own energy, but it really feels like your own aura that's around you. You can feel the vibe. You can, if you do it right, at some point you will feel the vibration in the air around you. And that's how, you know, you feel your own energy. And that's important because if you don't feel your own energy and don't know what it feels like, then you never know if there's like spirit guide being around you, because you can't feel their presence, because you can't even feel your own presence. So, so when you meditate, again, set the intention. I want to know who you are. And then there's a meditation that's great and that I also do in the master course. Again, like the button is down here if you're interested, which is like you sit down, first you meditate, you get clear, you feel your own energy, you ground yourself, you do the protection like I talked about earlier. And then you ask your spirit guide to come close to you, to come and join you in your aura, like in the bubble that you created around you. And what if they come and join you, you can feel them, especially if you learned how to feel your own energy. You can feel that there is another energy coming in. And then when you're not sure about it, you can ask them, hey, I'm not sure if this is really you. Can you step out of my aura again? And they will step out, and you feel the difference again, because you can only feel yourself again. And then you ask them, can you step in again? And if the sensation that you had earlier, that there's a presence, comes back, then you know you're talking to an intelligent being. And this is the way you start communicating with your guides and build a conscious relationship with them. Once you're sure that you're talking with a conscious being, like an intelligent being, then you can start asking more questions. Like, who are you? Do you have a name? Can you tell me something about you? And then be open. Again, like they could show you images in your head. You might think, oh, you're just making stuff up, but that's not how it is. They tell you things. They might show you a rose and you think, oh, why am I thinking about a rose? I want to talk to my spirit guide, but the rose is their communication. Or you might hear a voice, but the voice might not be outside of you. It might be in your head. It might sound like you're just listening to your own inner voice, but the answer might be something that you didn't know or that you wouldn't think about. Or you just feel it because you're clairsentient. You might, like I said, feel a wave of love, or you might feel that it's a male presence or that it's a female presence. So that's the way you slowly start communicating with them. And this takes time. Again, this takes practice. Don't expect like huge results when you meditate 2 or 3 times. So I hope this helps. All right, now we have another question from Helen. Okay, Helen asks, I have seen green colored orbs in my photos and wonder if that is my spirit guide trying to connect with me. What do the orbs mean? Well, orbs, yes, they can be spirit guides. They're often seen in connection with past loved ones or angels or nature spirits, specifically fairies. That they are green can have definitely has a meaning. Again, you have to look at what green means to you. I can only tell you what it means to me and what it often means. But again, like your intuition tells you what's right. So if this is also for everyone, if I say something that doesn't feel right with you, just put it aside and only take the things that I tell you that feel right for you. All right, so green to me usually means that it's a healing energy, that it's like a spirit, like a healer spirit, or that they want to tell you that you have healing abilities, or it has to do with nature. Maybe they're nature spirits. So these are the 2 things that I would think about right away if I saw a green colored orb. Or maybe actually you are in the process of healing, and this is like some healing energy that they bring in. Let me see if I answered the question. Yes, I think so. If you have follow-up questions, let me know. Okay, so guys, if you have questions, please don't put them in the chat, but put them in the Ask a Question section, which you can find down here. Because I just saw a question in the chat, I'll answer it, but I can't, it's too much if I have to pay attention to everything. So here was a question, could you request elemental beings even if you don't have one as a spirit guide? Yes, you can. You can, just like you can make friends with other human beings, you can make friends with spirit guides. So especially if you want to connect with elemental beings, nature spirits, the most important thing is to spend time in nature, or like bring nature inside by having plants inside. And by what you can do is like get a book about nature spirits, see what they like, what attracts them, and then follow like the instructions. I know that if you have a garden and you create specific spaces where they feel welcome, and you set the intention to invite them into your garden, or if you just have like some plants in your house, you can do the same thing. Some people have like these little fairy gardens that they make inside a plant, like in the pot. And they have like these little houses and stuff, and just make it nice for them to come and hang out with you. Just like you would with human friends. You, when you want to make a friend, you're being nice to them, you invite them over for tea or coffee or a beer, and you slowly build that relationship. You can do the same thing with any kind of spirit guide. And again, ask. Don't forget, you have to ask. And you have to set the intention. They can't come around and help you if you don't ask. If you have to give them permission because you have free will. All right. So next question. All right. So Jiranjit, I hope I'm saying your name right. I'm sorry if I'm butchering it. Your question is, my claircognizance is out of control. I know too much. Any suggestions in mastering it better? Yes. So this is for anyone who like sees too much and it gets overwhelming, or hears too much, or knows too much, or feels too much. Psychic development. If you learn how to deal with this, if you learn how to switch it on and off, and the off part is important here, then you can get it under control. So a lot of people who like see too much, especially like children who see past loved ones at night in their bedroom, like in physical form, that can be really scary, even for like adults, obviously. That can be really, really scary. And they don't want to have anything to do with psychic development because they're afraid that it gets worse. But in fact, it won't get worse because you get control over it. You know how to turn it off. So learning psychic protection, so you keep like the not so nice spirits out of your aura, out of your system, and learning psychic development are the two things that you want to do to get it under control. Psychic development, you can either, again, like buy my course, or find someone else who can teach you about psychic development, or you can just get a book. There's a really good book by Gordon Smith that's called Mediumship Hay House Basics. Yes, it's in the Hay House Basics, what do you call it? Like their line, Hay House Basics, Gordon Smith Mediumship. I learned with Gordon Smith, and he's great. But you can also find any other psychic protection book on Amazon and just go through it. Psychic development book on Amazon, and get it and just go through it, because it will teach you, again, to use your spiritual gifts and your psychic gifts, and to turn them off if you want to, because it can be really overwhelming if you walk around and you see, hear, feel, and know things all the time. By the way, I forgot to mention claircognizance. I mentioned clairvoyance, clear seeing. I mentioned clairaudience, clear hearing. I mentioned clairsentience, which is clear feeling. And there's also claircognizance, which is clear knowing. This is a tough one because you just know things and you don't really know where this information came from. So a lot of claircognizant people don't even realize that they're psychic because they think everyone knows this stuff. For example, I'm also claircognizant, and even as a child, I always knew stuff about people, but I thought everyone could know this stuff about people. I'd never realized that this is not normal. So yeah, if you're claircognizant, you're probably an idea person. You're someone who's works very much with your head. You like reading, probably. You like learning stuff. If this is your personality type, then look into claircognizance. Maybe that's your thing. And then you might not see anything, not hear anything, not even feel anything. You might just know things. For example, when you do your meditation and you invite your guide to come join you in your aura, you might just know that they're there. You don't feel anything, you don't see anything, you don't hear anything, you just know that they're there, and you just know that it's a female, for example. If that happens, don't discredit it. Don't tell yourself you're just making it up. Go with it. Nothing is going to happen if you allow yourself to go with it. Even if you're really making it up, so what? Then do it again and again. And if you, like I said earlier, you can do tests to know if you're talking to an intelligent being. Ask them to come into your aura and leave again, and then come again. You will know if you're making it up or not. But just go with it. All right. So what's the next question? All right, so there's a question from Yanling. Will you be telling us whom our spirit guides are or whom the main ones are for us? The test didn't help me much, and I remember seeing your live streams for us to ask you to confirm whom our spirit guides and angels are. Right. So yes, the last 2 months I didn't do any free readings, but they will come back. So if you want to know who your main guide is, if you want to know, if you want to know, if you want me to connect you with one of your spirit guides, you can come to my free readings. Again, go to my website, spiritguides.co, and you will find there will be a pop-up, and there in the menu you can find it. It's called free readings. You can sign up and you will get a free group mini reading from me. Or you can obviously book a one-on-one session with me, and I can spend an hour with you and connect you with usually 1 to 3 of your guides. And I can give you messages from them, and you can ask questions. But today is something different. I'm not connecting you with your guides. Today I'm answering questions about your connection with your guides. All right, let's see. Okay, Yanling has another question. Yanling asks, I have much confusion whether I'm hearing or feeling or listening to my ego or unwanted spirits, or my deep fear, or if it's my guides or angels or higher self. Please share some tips to help us differentiate them, since sometimes I feel spirits around or see sudden shadows, but get scared because I'm unsure if they are my guides or other stuff. Well, that's a very common question. Lots of people are a little bit afraid when it comes to spirits because they think it might be bad spirits. So first of all, I want to tell you that if you are a good person, if you don't hurt other people, if you are usually a happy person, if you are someone who's generally liked by other people, you have a certain frequency that most bad spirits can't even get to because you have a fairly high frequency. So the different dimensions, you can also see them as different frequencies. So you live on this frequency. If you have a high frequency, and that's why I asked you, if you are someone who doesn't hurt people, if you're someone that's generally liked, if you're not depressed, if you're generally a happy person, if things are going well in your life, you are on a very high level. So then the beings from here, they can't even see you. They can't even reach you because they can't, raise their vibration that much. So that's the main protection that we have, raising our own vibration. So make sure, that you raise your vibration on a daily basis. Being happy means you're on a higher vibration. So that's number one. Number two, psychic protection. I mentioned that earlier, so if you didn't hear that, like watch the replay and see what I have to say about that. Psychic protection, definitely a must before you connect with spirit guides. That will help you. Call in someone, like a spirit that you know, a god that you like, or Archangel Michael is a really, really good one because he's a protector spirit. So call in Archangel Michael to protect you. And then also, like I said, use some sage or Palo Santo in your room to clear the air before you do it. And then you're already protected 99%, 99.99%, and nothing will happen. Also know that you have the power to send bad spirits away. Like, they can't do anything to you because, again, you have free will. No one, like no spirit, can work against your free will. So if you get scared, you just tell them, okay, I'm getting scared, please leave. And they have to leave. Again, if you think it's not working, call in Archangel Michael and he will escort them out. It's really not that hard, but I understand that people are scared because most of the time it's because we watch too many Hollywood movies. We've seen too many scary movies and we think that's what's going to happen. Now let me look at the question again and see if I've answered it. Right, also you're confused about if it's like your ego or an unwanted spirit or if it's your guide. Right, so we talked about the unwanted spirits, how to get rid of them. Then the second question is it your ego or your imagination or your spirit guides? Well, here's the thing. Your spirit guides use your imagination to communicate with you. Again, they like, when they want to communicate with you, they are like on a frequency up here, you are here, they lower themselves a little bit and you have to like raise your vibration a little bit so you can communicate. And when you're like connected like this, they have access to like your thoughts and your experiences and also your imagination, and they can use that to communicate with you. So lots of people always think, oh, I'm just making this up and I can't use my imagination. No, you should use your imagination. For example, spirit guides don't have a physical form. They are not like humans. They don't have a body. They are made like of an energy frequency. You can feel that in energy frequency, but you can't really see it. So they know we are human beings and we like have this thing about seeing things and being able to feel things. So we think it's real. They use that. Like, again, I gave this example earlier. Maybe a 5-year-old girl will see her spirit guide as a Disney princess. Doesn't mean that the spirit guide is a Disney princess. It's just showing it up that way so it makes sense to the little girl. And so the spirit guide is using her imagination and her like experience of watching Disney movies to connect with her. So the thing is, don't fight your imagination because then you're like blocking your communication. Use your imagination. It's totally fine to use it. And again, like then talk to that spirit. Ask them to come into your aura. And if you feel a difference, then ask them to step out again and then see if you feel the difference, and then ask them to step in again and like do these little tests so you know if you're talking to an intelligent being. And that's how you know the difference between like the real thing and if you're just making it up. I hope that helps. All right, next question. You guys have a lot of questions. Awesome. I hope you're having fun and I hope it helps you. I definitely am having fun with this. So let's see. Rosie has another question. Rosie asks, today I saw a white glowing light around me while I was looking in the mirror at the gym, the auric field, but there was a giant pillar beam of white light coming out the top of my head from my crown chakra. I've seen a beam of light come out of the crown chakra of other people before too. What is that? I feel like I'm being beamed up by aliens or something. All right, so first of all, like the glowing light around you is probably your aura. Especially if you've also seen it around other people, it's definitely the aura. You can like, now that you know you're able to see auras, you can also practice that more. Like ask your friends to stand in front of a white wall. That's the easiest way, at least for me, to see it. And then I usually, like, I don't see the colors. What I see clairvoyantly is like a white, and it's not even like that big. It's like maybe this, like this high, and it goes all around a person. If you can see that, then you can start looking into colors, and if you can see colors, some people are really good at it, some people are not, and other people just know the color without seeing it. Again, like claircognizant. That's how I do it. I just kind of like, I ask the question, what color is the aura, and then I just get the answer. So yes, what you saw is probably the aura, and what you saw with your seventh chakra is like your seventh chakra is open. It's wide open, and you're connected to the universe through that white pillar of light. So you can experiment with it. Again, like when you're at home, look in the mirror, see if you can see it again, and then practice opening and closing your chakra. You could imagine it as like an eye, for example, or like a whatever you want, like a trap door. Again, use your imagination. Imagine opening it and see if like the pillar of light becomes stronger or more intense, and then like close it a little bit and see if it like becomes less. That way you can also practice seeing auras, and you can practice working with your chakras. And yes, you can use like this pillar of light. Like I said earlier, myself, I use this. I open my seventh chakra and focus on this pillar of light before I do my readings, because I know that helps me to tune into the spirit world. You can do the same thing. You're not really being beamed up, but you connect. So then you can talk to your spirit guides. All right, next question comes from Colin. Colin asks, do you think, is it possible for a human being to not have any spirit guides at all? Like someone who is an exception? No, I don't think so. I think every single human being has a spirit guide. I can't prove it, but I have never encountered anyone who doesn't have a spirit guide. Never. So yes, I'm pretty sure about that. Thank you, Lionel. All right, so Lionel has a question. Lionel asks, how far back do these spirit guides go? Back Atlantis, other star systems? This is so interesting today. Thanks. Well, you're very welcome. And that's a very good question. I never asked myself that question before, so I don't really have the answer, but I would think spirit guides have existed since humans came into existence, or even before that. Because I think that animals definitely also have spirit guides. So then, since the earth existed, since animals existed, that would be my answer. But like I said, I'm not really sure. I'll have to think about that. But thank you for your question. We answered this question by Annette already about if you can request elemental beings. Okay. Let's see. Yes, the Yamling says there are other clairs too. That's right. There's one for clear smelling and one for clear taste. I didn't mention them because they're usually not main clairs, which means they help with communication, but they're usually not the main thing. Unless you're like someone who works with perfumes or someone who's like a chef, then it might be more pronounced with you. Or like if you're someone who's into smells and tastes in some way, and you have like honed these skills very much, then you might focus on them. But otherwise, they can happen, but I would focus on the other ones first. So for example, you could smell the perfume your grandma always used to use. Suddenly, you're thinking about your grandma and suddenly you smell it. Or you're not even thinking about her. Suddenly you smell the perfume, but no one's around you because you're in the middle of the woods. Then you know it's your grandma who's coming, who's just saying hi to you. That's her way to show you that she's around. Or maybe you smell your granddad's cigar smoke. These are like very classic examples. And Annette says, oh yes, glad to hear I'm not the only person with claircognizance that has the issue of not knowing you are like that. Yes, like I said, claircognizant people have that a lot. Then Annette also says, I love my spirit guides. They assist me every day with all my decisions. And they are so, so cool. I wish everybody could connect with their spirit guides like that. So fulfilling. Well, yes, everyone can. It's just a matter of practice, really. Oh, and one more thing that I really want to mention that I haven't mentioned yet about the clairs, like they can all happen objectively, like outside of you, which would be like physically seeing your spirit guide, or like hearing their voice outside of your head, like someone is standing next to you and talking to you. But usually you will communicate with your spirit guides on a subjective level, which means like your claircognizance is and your clairvoyance and your clairaudience is happening inside of you, inside your head. So you will hear their voice like it is your own voice in your own mind, or you will see things like you remember like something that you did yesterday. You see it in your own head. You don't see it outside of you. And this is the norm. Like there's nothing wrong with that. When I do spirit guide readings, that's how I usually see and know and feel things on a subjective level, not on an objective level. And this is true for most mediums and psychics, even the super famous ones. This is how they usually communicate. Yes, it might happen that you see something physically or hear something outside of yourself, but that's not the norm. All right, let's see. There's another question from Yanling. All right, so Yanling asks, what if the imagination or thought or image is of something scary? Like it suddenly comes out of nowhere. Is that considered from spirit guides? No. If you get something scary, it's never sent by your spirit guides. Your spirit guides would never, ever scare you or never, ever tell you to harm yourself or others. If something is like, if it's negative and it doesn't feel good to you, it's not your spirit guides. It's either your own ego. Again, you might have watched too many like movies, and I'm not saying this to like make you feel bad. Like we all have seen these movies, and lots of people get scared when they want to connect with the spirit world because it's like we can't see it really, and so our imagination comes in and like fills up the blank space with Hollywood movie stuff. But again, like our spirit guides will never, ever, ever send any bad or negative thoughts. Even if you're, let's say, about to have a car accident and they want to help you, they will not tell you, oh, you're going to have a car accident. They will tell you, you're going to have a car accident if you do this, so do something else. They will always give you a solution and not scare you with negative stuff. So this is either your imagination or it's a spirit that doesn't have, that feeds off your fear. So that's possible, not very dangerous, because all you have to do is like work on your fear. And then again, like when you work on your fear, you level up when it comes to frequency, and then they can't reach you anymore. So what you want to do is like go slow when it comes to spirit guide meditation. Like, for example, for you, it would be very important to just meditate. Don't even ask your guides to come and join you. Just meditate by yourself until you can feel your own energy. Then practice like psychic protection. Again, like connect to the earth, connect to the sky so you're aligned. Create a protective bubble around you, or find another way to do it that makes sense to you. Call on your like protector spirit, even if you don't know who they are. It's totally fine if you just say, I don't know you, but I know I have a protector spirit and I want you to come and protect me now. Totally fine. They can hear you. Or you can call on Archangel Michael. And that's all I want you to do for now, because you will, even that might like trigger some fears in you. And until you like can do that without fear, then you can take the next step. Then you ask your guide to come like closer until you can feel them. But like as soon as you get scared, send them away again. This is like how you can build that relationship with them and build trust. And that's the main thing, that you learn to trust them, and that you learn like who your guides are, and that you can feel their energy frequencies, so you can recognize them and build that relationship. And so you don't have to be scared of them, because then you know, oh, I can feel this is my guide, or see, or whatever it is, this is my guide, and so I don't have to be scared. I hope this helps. All right, I think I answered all your questions. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming. Again, if you're interested in learning more about like connecting with your guides, check out my master course. The button is down here. It's a green button. It says Buy Master Course. You can click on it and check it out if you like it. Feel free to get it. Again, this is a course that I did with 10 to 12 people. It was a live course, and you can get the recordings for a third of the original price. And it teaches you how to connect with your spirit guides. And it's 5 2-hour workshops. Feel free to check it out. Otherwise, I'd be happy if you came to one of my free readings, or if you wanted to book a one-on-one reading with me, and then I can connect you with your personal guides. And otherwise, if you're not in our Facebook group yet, come join us. It's spiritguideschool.com. That will redirect you to the Facebook group. And I will be doing more Q&As too, because I know you guys have lots of questions and I like answering them. All right, thanks so much for coming, and I'll see you next time. Bye.